All right, so my apologies, guys. We're having a bit of technical difficulties just now. All right, so we're at Kodak. So at peak value, Kodak was valued at 30 billion US dollars. That's twice the size of Jamaica's little economy. Now, then came disruptors, and one of those major disruptors, of course, was digital photography. Mobile phones, now we have social media, right? There have been other companies, however, that essentially adapted. So you have companies like Canon, Nikon, Sony, as we can see today, that are more dominant in the space. And they embrace the changes. Sony at one point in time had, and they still do, in fact, do have cell phones. But at one point in time, they were pretty dominant in Jamaica. We had Sony Ericsson, which was essentially a joint venture. So fast forward today, Kodak is no more because of their failure to adjust. Can any of us think of any local business or businesses that sort of fail to adjust to changing climate and eventually were no more? I can think of a few. So our next colossal failure is Blockbuster, right? Let me see a show of hands again, guys. Engage the Q&A section. Those of us who remember Blockbuster, right? Again, another juggernaut. When you think of movies, you thought of Blockbuster. So how did they fail, right? So Netflix, everybody know Netflix these days, right? Netflix emerged as a major disruptor. But when Netflix began their services, most people did not take them very seriously. In fact, I believe it was Blockbuster. I stand to be corrected. I believe it was Blockbuster that had the opportunity to actually purchase Netflix outright. But no, they didn't think that this platform was going to go anywhere. Why did anybody would want to pay for streaming when they could get DVDs, right? So go figure. They don't start at Netflix, just like maybe Bitcoin or some other new invention would have just come and go and gone. Now, today, the brick and mortar rental stores are completely dead, right? I remember maybe around sometime in the early 2000s, because that time I was in high school, right? Just to give you an indication of my age, there are a plethora of DVD stores. That was the Netflix of the day. You had to get your DVD purchase, even if it was bootleg, as we know, right? And that is how we would enjoy our Sunday matinee. Now, all we have to do is pay for a subscription from either Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney, HBO, and there are so many others. At peak value, Blockbuster was valued at approximately 5 billion US dollars. And as I mentioned before, its downfall would have been primarily caused by digital streaming. So again, the connection between digital. So digital in terms of Kodak, not adapting to digital, and essentially the same thing for Blockbuster. Who remember Toys R Us? At peak value, Toys R Us actually valued $13 billion. Now, it really succumbed to excessive debt. Now, debt is one of the things that it can leverage your growth and make you grow very fast. But if the debt you take is not bringing in, if you're not utilizing that debt properly, or if the debt is at high interest rates. So remember I talked about at the start of the presentation, making your banker your best friend. Who remembers Spartan Health Club? Right? We'll get to that in a few. But essentially what happened, other competitors like Amazon came on the scene. Now, I have a section primarily on Amazon, so I won't go too much in depth in terms of explaining what Amazon did just yet. But essentially, e-commerce, just like the other two failures, e-commerce again, digital. So I want my entrepreneurs to make the connections as to where I'm going with this. All of these have one thing in common. Type it in the chat, right? So it really neglected to diversify. And we hear that term a lot, especially in finance. So these disruptors, primarily Amazon, right? Walmart, Target, all had a part to play in it. And because Toys R Us sort of just believe that, hey, people will always buy toys. Yes, they will. But how, when, and where? And as I said before, I won't go too detailed in some of the things that Amazon did just yet. So the bankruptcy for Toys R Us, though, paved the way for smaller toy retailers and to create a niche online store to capture market share. And I want to highlight that point because a lot of small businesses have the opportunity to get out there and play it. You might think that the playing field is not level, but think of the fact that the same Instagram page that a giant can create is the same Instagram page that can be created for your business. And it's not limited to Instagram. There's TikTok. There's still Facebook with a lot of data analytics. There's Twitter. And there are other means of reaching customers. Your website, right? Of reaching customers that are not immediately in your geographical location. Now, one of the things we look to is to structure a business. Now, how do you take your business from 0 to 100? It needs a certain level of structure. Now, one of the ways that entrepreneurs these days have been looking to structure their business is to utilize a tool, a strategic tool that is called the business model canvas. Now, the business model canvas doesn't necessarily, because some person will tell you that, oh, well, you don't need a business plan anymore. Business plans are dead. It doesn't necessarily replace a business plan. However, it can accentuate one, or if you don't immediately have a business plan, a business model canvas can be a starting point. Now, the business model canvas has 9 areas. It starts with the customer segment, right? The value proposition, the channels, customer relationships, your revenue stream, your key resources, key activities, partnerships, and your costing of your business. Now, if you think about your customer segments really look to where do you get your customers, right? Let's take a financial institution. So on one hand, a financial institution has depositors, persons who typically save their money. On another hand, they have another set of customers, persons who typically borrow money. Now, we do know some persons fall in both categories, and most of us do fall in both categories, but some persons borrow more than they save. And the reverse is also true. So those would be two major customer segments. But let's take same financial institution. Let's say they have individual customers. That's one segment. They maybe have institutional customers. That's another segment. That segment again can be split into private and public. And public in this case would be government agencies or government ministries. So you understand generally what I mean by various segments. So it is important that you know the various segments or the potential segments of your customers. Now, your value proposition. And your value proposition is really your 30, it's not even 30 seconds. What is your 5-second speech? You meet a major contact, somebody you've always wanted to meet, somebody you potentially look up to, idolize even. You meet them on, we're in Jamaica, so maybe you meet them on Knutsford Boulevard, just walking by. Maybe you meet them in an elevator, using the elevator. You meet them in a business, in an office space. What do you say? So your 5-second, and I'm putting it to 5-second, your 5-second speech should be able to, in a sense, tell what is your business about. What are you selling? What are you offering? What is the value? The channels. How do you reach your customers? So you're linking the channels to the customer segment. And most of these variables here, because they will change from time to time, they are linked to your customer segments. So different customers you reach via different channel. Some customers you are going to reach through social media. Some customers you are going to have to call. Some customers, you're going to have to see them face to face. And so you have to understand the difference between each customer in order to meet them. Customer relationships. Relationships, very important. It is so hard. It is so expensive to get a new customer. So what about keeping them? So it brings into question, how do you build a relationship that is ongoing? One of the models that are being used now, and I'm going to revenues, is to actually build a subscription model. So that most of these software companies, especially Microsoft, they came with M365, which is a very brilliant tool for businesses and individuals as well. But rather than in the past where you get a CD, so you see the disruption all over again. We haven't seen a CD in a long time. You used to get by a laptop and you get the CD to download the Microsoft Office suite. Now all you have to do is go online. And instead of a one-time purchase, what they're doing now, you can purchase it monthly and yearly. And they do have other different sort of sub-products within those categories. So you see a lot of changes is taking place. And the revenue model in terms of subscription services, to link them, those revenue models typically came out of the digital disruption with examples that I've used before, such as Netflix. So it goes to show that even if a business, because one of the things we do at Frontier is to ask our clients, who do you benchmark against? Who you benchmark against is so important. It keeps you honest, it keeps you accountable, and it gets you motivated and growing. And who you benchmark doesn't have to be in your industry. Just like how I mentioned, other companies that are not streaming services are essentially using the same business model. Key resources. So, what are your key resources? Could you guys put in the chat? What are some key resources for your business or your businesses? I can think of people, right? I can think of technology. I can think of capital. Maybe it's the physical location of your business, right? Maybe it's the way you do business. So think on these things. The activities. What sets you apart from the competition? And as I have there in brackets, your value proposition. We're linking the two because that is essentially why people come to your business. I said in a presentation this week that ultimately, even when we're producing physical goods, what we're really selling is a service. Because think of beauty products. There are a plethora of companies selling beauty products. So what essentially are you selling? You're selling a service. It's one of the reasons why we continue to do business with places like Amazon. I know Shein and other places, maybe Alibaba, they are low-cost carriers. But I can tell you for myself, I do business with Amazon because it's a case where even if there's a service failure, they're quick to either give you a refund, right? Or they give you a new item. And sometimes we end up with more than one of the same items. I surely have had that encounter in the past. And they're even doing free returns from Jamaica. They're even doing shipping to Jamaica now. Obviously not free, but it does provide options. So you want to give your clients, your customers, options. Now, key partnerships. And this is one of the things I may mention to my entrepreneurs. One key partnership could be the springboard that change your business and change your life. So it's important to form networks, to form strategic partnerships. Somebody said to me, the people who are starting out, and I'm paraphrasing now, I'm being a little politically correct as well, they compete. Billionaires collaborate. And I gave that story earlier as to how they put money together and invest. And of course, cash is king, they say. And I will correct that in a bit, right? How much does it cost to operate? So it's important to budget and know your numbers. This is the other thing that I've said to my entrepreneurs. Ensure that you're keeping records, even if it means that you have to physically write down things. I don't really advocate for that because we have the tools we can use. We have the mobile phones, they have notepads. There's Microsoft OneNote, which is a brilliant tool. But if you still prefer to physically handwrite things, then be my guest. Just ensure that you are keeping those records. And it's also important for taxation purposes. So your banker is your friend, your best friend, I would say. So who remembers Spartan? Remember Spartan Health Club? No, it is alleged that Spartan needed cash flows, needed money to show up their cash flows. Now, a lot of business encountered challenges during the pandemic, right? I used to go gym, and during the pandemic, it was closed. So a lot of face-to-face businesses at least, that would have, essentially they couldn't have prevented, distancing. They were closed. So what that mean? It means that one, they still have to pay rent. You call these fixed costs for your business, right? They still potentially had to pay staff, maybe not their full, a full salary, and they would have potentially had creditors that they had to pay. So those bills were still bills in. So cash is the lifeblood of any business. And I stand corrected. Cash is queen. You know why cash is queen? Because the queen is the most powerful player on the chessboard. And we know the saying, we're not playing a chess, we are playing, not while some people are playing checkers. So it's a game of strategy. And it is important that you build a relationship with your banker. I can tell you the importance of that. I don't know if my banker is on this meeting today, but I can call my banker almost anytime. And I say almost because I would still respect the person's time outside of work. But so much so is our rapport that if I need anything, if it's an emergency, I'll be able to get them. I'll be able to get a response. I'll be able to get some money in my account. So it is important not just to look at our customers, but to look at our business partners, our vendors, and our financial partners are one of our most important in this grand scheme of things. Now, a lot of small businesses fail to even start this relationship because they don't register their business. They don't open their bank accounts. So maybe the business is registered, but the bank account, the business bank account is not open. You have to separate your funds. And as they say, the higher the monkey climb, the more it makes spores. So at the end of the day, you want to put yourself in a situation 3 years in, steady cash flows is coming into your business and your banker is able to see those transactions. So when is it you need maybe a credit card for the business, right? When is it you need a short-term loan? Because that's another conversation that I had with one of my clients, and I would say future business partner. Today, the fact of the matter is sometimes you have major contracts, but those funds are not going to come immediately. Government comes to mind. You know your money is sure, but you don't know when you're going to get your money. And that is why your banker should be, or one reason at least, my entrepreneurs, why your banker should be your best friend. But I wanted to share a bit about the Spartans. And I know I mentioned Spartan Health Club earlier. So to make the connection with what we're saying here, it is also important for business owners, for entrepreneurs, for small businesses to be agile. Now, everybody on this call, I believe, would have heard about Sparta and the Spartans. They were some of the greatest warriors and conquerors in the old world and overall in history. Other Greek cities were doing well at the time, and they grew so wealthy. But guess what? Sparta was sort of landlocked. So to a certain point, they could not have physically grown. They were surrounded by mountains. They eventually defeated even Athens. But what is the differentiating factor today about Sparta and Athens? Can anybody type in the chat? Where is, or what is the capital of Greece? And that will tell you. So Sparta may have won the battles, but Athens won the war. And it is simple. The Athenians developed trade. They took to the sea. They were more versatile. They developed their culture. And eventually, they were the ones who took over, even though they did not have the physical strength and establishment of the Spartan Empire. And so that is important in your business. Managing your cash flows, building your relationships, and staying agile. Make your banker your best friend. So Amazon, we all know, and hopefully I speak for most, love Amazon or love the things we can get on Amazon. So Amazon's success is primarily attributed to its efficient cash management and strategic partnerships. Now tell me now, where in this presentation did we hear about cash and strategic partnerships? So we see in the connections there again, the trends are all there. Jeff actually prioritized long-term sustainability over short-term profits. So Amazon, I don't remember the amount of years now, but for a period of time, Amazon was actually not making a profit. And to the right, you will see a few of the different companies. Great things start small. So the Apple, the Googles, the Amazon, Harley Davidson, Disney, and Mattel, which is lesser known, all started from the backyard. In fact, Jeff Bezos, brilliant guy, actually worked in a quantitative hedge fund, which essentially is a high stakes finance or financial institution. So he pretty much could have stayed in finance and make a good amount of money. But what he realized was that there were data points that essentially were pointing towards books. So Amazon started as an online bookstore, and it was sort of unheard of because bookstores were sort of very intimate. You walk in, maybe it has a coffee shop attached. You sit down, you have a conversation, and you talk about the book you either wrote or you're currently reading. Amazon decided to change the game, using again the digital economy, and the rest they say is history. So we look at some of the do's. As I mentioned earlier, establish a proactive relationship with your banker and other financial partners. Don't ignore cash flow management or overlook the importance of financial partnerships. Now we come to why do companies succeed? So let's hear in the chat. Why do companies succeed? Why do you think companies succeed? Why do some companies sort of never make it beyond a certain points? And most businesses, as they say, either fail within the first year or within the first 3 years. So drawing on the insights of two of my favorite business books, Good to Great, right, by Jim Collins, and The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. So successful companies exhibit a certain characteristics such as visionary leadership, innovation, and continuous adaptation. So one of the things that sticks out to me in the Good to Great, it talks about setting big goals. How many times have we heard that if we're not setting big goals, then we're not challenging ourselves? And essentially, if we're not challenging ourselves, how can we grow? Because growth comes in the times when we feel the most discomfort. So that's where the growth is. So essentially, it is important for us to set goals. And sometimes goals, because we will hear the term all the time to say, set smart goals. And setting smart goals work. Yes. But what if those goals are too smart? Which is one of the reasons why I'll tell entrepreneurs, while it is important to have a business plan, the business plan is not your business. So you shouldn't be overly focused on the business plan. The business plan is a starting point, but you have to get things right, and there always be gaps. So your business plan now is to be used in a way that you use to close the gaps. And you close the gaps by looking what the customer needs are. It's not to say, oh, the policy said this. So what happened? The policy can't change. The laws, even the laws change, maybe not immediately, but, and it's not to say that you're going to change it for every customer. But what if the initial purpose of setting that policy is now negligible or now redundant? These are things we have to look into. Companies that transition from good to great have disciplined people, thought and action. I say to my entrepreneurs, speed is your best friend. You find bigger companies that will sit at the decision table and can't make a decision. And meetings after meetings after meetings. And I too know too well. In Jamaica, we love to see him busy. We love to meet. Some of these meetings can be emails. Some of these meetings can be a quick phone call. Some of these meetings can be a quick WhatsApp message. They confront the brutal facts and have hard discussions. So these are important because you might kick the bucket down the road until the company kicks the bucket. We all know what that term means, right? So it is important to not stand in your own way as an entrepreneur. Now for the lean startup. The lean startup really came out of manufacturing. So everybody know of Toyota and how they've been able to revolutionize the automotive market. And they're not limited to automotive when you think of manufacturing on a whole, because they do produce other items outside of automotive. The lean startup itself speaks to going before you're even ready. You have what is called a minimum viable product. What can it do? So you think of your elevator speech. So you say you can do this. You say you can do that. But do you have all of the things in place? Maybe not. But you just told a future client, a prospective client, prospective business partner, a financier, that you have this. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to get your minimum viable product going so you can be able to get your foot in the door. So as I say again, one of the advantages that smaller companies have is to actually make decisions, smart decisions, fast, as quickly as possible, because the window of opportunities could be instant, or not instant, but quick. If you don't move quickly enough, it could be the death of your business. So we look at Samsung's first product. It was actually not an electronic device. They were more into things like wholesale. So that is one of the things now I want to say to you entrepreneurs. You have a business idea, go and register the business. What is stopping you? You don't quite have an idea yet, but you want to be in business, go and register the business. What is stopping you? There are opportunities for grants. The banks, as I said, will start to look at your business maybe after 3 years, maybe after consistent cash flow. So it could be less, because if your business grows very fast within the first year, then the banks will have concrete proof to say your business is prime for further growth. But if you're not registered, if you don't have a bank account, how will even you know? Go and register the business, or come and register the business, I would say. And that marks the general conclusion I wanted to make mention of a Jamaican book. It's called The Hazards of Entrepreneurship. So this was one of the inspiration in terms of names. Didn't quite use the chapters, but they're quite useful. I'll name a few. Will the real entrepreneur please stand up? Women as entrepreneurs. Where do you go from here? Is this a good deal? And there's so many other chapters. In fact, there are 18 chapters in this book, and it's done by a Jamaican, Blossom O'Mealy Nelson. You can get it on Amazon, and I believe you can also get it locally. And this is one of the things I encourage my entrepreneurs to do. Read as much as possible and be aware of what is some of the things that are happening in the surroundings. So by understanding the hazards of entrepreneurship and implementing best practices, entrepreneurs can increase their chances of success. I heard I have some questions. All right, so I'm going to take the question in terms of building a relationship with the bank. So it's pretty simple. Go into the bank, talk to a relationship bank, and each bank is different. And I would pretty much assume that you could answer, do you have a bank account? Do you have more than one bank account? Because that is one of the things I encourage, not just my entrepreneurs, but my friends, my family to do. Never put all your eggs in one basket. So it starts there, because then you will know as you go along. Because I will tell you, certain banks not going to get my money. They have poor customer service. And poor customer service isn't limited to whether the person at the front desk is nice. Poor customer service, relates to you call them, you can't get them. The lines are always long, right? You go in, well, let me not even go there. But the truth of the matter is, especially for a business owner, get the business registered, open the bank account, and that's where you start. Eventually, once steady income is building up in your bank account, you can go ahead and say to your banker, can I be offered a loan? And they can actually tell you whether or not you're in a place to access such a loan. In fact, at Frontier, we're also members of the JMB SME Resource Center. So you could come and have that conversation with Frontier, and we will be happy to assist you in getting banked and building that relationship with your banker. And I don't know if Sabrina is on this call, because she's one of our more recent customers, our clients rather, that has started that relationship. In fact, I was told that there is a group of entrepreneurs that they have created, and that in itself is a network for entrepreneurs to leverage each other's resources. No, Renee won't get me in a problem if we say the best banks. But as I said before, Renee, I'm a member of JMB SME Resource Center. I've also worked at JMB Group. So I'm going to tell you, in terms of an integrated bank, JMB has investments. They have fund managers, which is like pooled investments. They have remittance, and they have a bank. Now, I can go to the JMB machine. Maybe they're not a lot. So you can take the pros and the cons from what I'm saying here. But I can go into New Kingston. I go to the machine. I put my card in. I put my cash in. And that cash, I can move it around almost seamlessly, relatively seamlessly, because sometimes it do take a few minutes. Maybe the system is not working as efficiently. It could take a little longer, but there's no other bank. NCB is trying a thing, but there's almost no other bank that you can do a transaction from start to finish and do the reverse. So give you a real life example. I put cash in my bank account from the ABM, move it from the ABM. They also have a drop box inside too that you can put cash in, put it in the ABM, go home, go online, transfer that funds into my stock account and buy a stock. I can then sell that same stock at a later date and the reverse is true without any form of interaction with a person. And there's no other bank. As I said, NCB comes close doing that. NCB, on the other hand, is the largest bank. So there's pros to having an account with NCB. And I would say they've been having quite a number of fraudulent issues. So that is something for clients to bear in mind. However, having that large branch network, it means that potential clients may have NCB accounts. So when they're transferring money or monies to your bank account, it goes through instantaneously. And that's another advantage. So CIBC, I've worked at CIBC First Caribbean as well, Alicia. And I really don't know what are the criteria for Bank of the Year. But from what I do know, CIBC First Caribbean has been what you would consider a very safe bank. They're not very aggressive in the marketplace. They were actually one of the first, if not the first, I believe they were the first to introduce Visa debit cards. Now we know the ins and out. You could not use your regular banking card to do transactions online. So many persons had to be using courier services or even borrowing their friends, asking their friends to actually make purchases on their behalf. But it was said that they did not do such a great job of actually advertising that product. So they're a good bank. I actually still bank with them, just not most of my transactions. So again, to sort of respond to that, the banking partner you choose also have a lot to do with your personal preference. And are they getting the job done at the end of the day? Okay, so guys, we're now at our networking section, right? So do you own a business? What type of business do you operate? How do we get in touch with you? So whether it's a flyer, I almost said business plan, right? Whether your business card, or as mentioned in the presentation, your value proposition. I'm also going to ask, what are some of the major takeaways, if any, we have so far? You may get a prize, so I'm giving you added incentive. All right. So, Akeem, is it possible for you to share a bit more of your business? Could you open your mic?
Definitely. Thank you for that, President. Good night, everyone. So, Lynchana Marketing, we recently registered the business as a partnership in December. We deal in agricultural produce crops. So we sell crops to hotels. We do government agencies like the hospitals. Yes, and for the long term, we're looking into exports and farming other synergistic companies to the mix. So for now, that is what we do. We sell agricultural produce to hotels and the government agencies like hospitals.
Great. Thank you very much. Any other entrepreneur would like to share about their business? Don't let me start calling names, because I know some of you personally. Renee, you can go ahead. You can go ahead, Renee. And Chimran, are you able to tell us a bit about your business as well?
Hello, good evening. Can I speak? Can you hear me?
Yes, Renee, but you sound like you're shy.
No, man, I wasn't able to see the audio thing for me to select. All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Renee Walton, the director of Gifted Academy. We cater to kids who are struggling readers, and we also do other things along the line, but our main goal is to help those who are having challenges with their reading. Yeah.
All right.
That's about it.
So how do persons get in contact with you, Renee?
You can find us on Instagram or on TikTok at gifted.academy, or you can give me a call at 224-3880.
All right. Share it in the chat as well.
All right, then, no problem.
I start calling name now, because I don't expect people like Stephanie to be quiet. All right, so Venish, you want to give it a shot? It's open networking, guys. Alisa? You can go ahead, Shimran.
Hey, what's going on, prisoner? Everything good?
Yeah, man, everything is good. Tell us about your business so the other entrepreneurs can learn about it.
Yeah, so right now I'm located in Florida. My business, we provide cabinets, flooring, baseboards, anything to finish the interior of a house. We're looking to grow the business here in the States and also in Jamaica. As far as shipping products directly from here straight to Jamaica, so we're working on that connection. If anybody in the chat have a connection with clearing, I have customers here looking to get stuff clear without them being in Jamaica and just get it delivered. So if anybody have those kind of links, definitely looking out for that.
All right. I'm sure we'll get that rectified.
So anything
order.
Anything home improvement, one of our goals is to set up the same thing in Jamaica where we can deliver, install, offer those services to customers there. But for right now, anybody that's looking for anything in the US, looking to find that product for them, source it for them, and deliver it, ship it for them. We make a receipt in Jamaica on that side.
Leave your contact details in the chat as well.
Okay, will do.
Great.
Hi, good night. Sorry, I couldn't find the mic.
Okay.
My name is Benish Wallace. I'm the founder of Eliza Care. My company dispatch practical nurses for home healthcare services. So in the event someone is sick, and you call us, we automatically send someone in to care for that for that individual. My apologies for my son making noise, but I definitely text in the chat. Is that okay?
He's learning. Yes, man. You can do that.
Okay, good. I know I was a kick off for him. But yes, so once somebody is sick, for example, somebody have met in an accident, your mommy or daddy have Alzheimer's, you just have a baby and you need help. Husband is abroad, your husband is abroad, and you have no family member here to assist you. Will automatically find somebody to come in and care for you at your home. So basically, that's what we do.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing. And you're on social media as well, right, Benish?
Yes, I'm on social media. You can find me at Eliza Care Plus on Facebook, and you can also find me at Eliza Care 100 on Instagram. My telephone number is 866-0734.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And remember to put it in the chat as well. Ralisa, you want to go ahead now?
Sure. Good night, everyone. I'm Relicia Lawrence. I'm the CEO of Panty Paradise. As the name states, we sell panties. We're Jamaica's best, of course. You can find us on Instagram at Panty Paradise JA or Facebook Panty Paradise. Our WhatsApp line is 876-492-8400. We are located in Bargain Mall Clock Tower. Yeah, and we're open from Monday to Saturday. So it's the best time to take a look. Like Valentine's Day is around the corner, so you won't be disappointed.
But Ralisa, you're missing some vital information because you're located in a store. What's the name of the store?
Oh, sorry. We're inside Bargain Mall. We're upstairs. The store is SC Fashions. It's shop number 22.
So that guy is a strategic partnership. So we spoke about that, yes, in the presentation as well. Yeah.
So they sell clothes. So what I did, I went around and I wrote some letters to clothing store to ask them to put me in their store, seeing that the panty and clothing goes together, and it's a great, like it's one of the best decisions ever. So I do recommend you guys to fish around for persons who have store with similar product lining. Like for example, if you have a sock line, you will link with someone that sells tie, shoes, bag, or something like of the sort, and you can space share. It cuts your expenses and it's very good, trust me.
And really, I wanted to share something else, because as entrepreneurs, we learn from each other. How long have you now been doing this beer business full time?
For full time, I left. Funny enough, I left during COVID. That was one of the spike. That was one of my best years. So I left my full time work as a receptionist. COVID year. That was like how much years ago?
It's been a few now.
So from that time I was full time, but I've been doing the business for 7 years.
And what is one of your best sellers?
Pre-sale, my best seller is definitely pre-sale spoke about doing something that stands out. Like everybody's, like when I just started, they love the idea of me taking panties online. So everybody started to do their little thing, but I did branch off and I went ahead and print on panties. So on the front of the panty, I would write catchy phrases on the front. So you can get a panty at Panty Paradise that says, Happy Valentine's Day, pre-snail.
Yeah, big up me.
and that would make pre-snail day for just $1,000. So that's how I basically stood out during the COVID time of selling panty. And trust me, like after this, I'm gonna print a lot.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
sharing.
So reading for Miss Melodine Posey. My name is Melodine, director of Queen Sisters African Fabric. We sell authentic 100% cotton fabric. We're on IG, Facebook. Currently, we are having a sale on 3 yards and more for only $1,000 per yard. Mrs. Cosley, please go ahead and drop your contact information and the handles for your social media pages. I also see where Stephanie, because she's ahead of the game, she dropped her link in the chat. So you can just click on this link, and based on what I'm seeing, this should take you to her website where you can learn more about 2 York Virtual Solutions.
Sorry, but could I ask Melanie where do I know her from? Because when I type her number in my phone, it comes up. Melanie, are you in Great Entrepreneur book also? Okay, thank you. I don't know.
All right, so Stephanie, you're not going to just get away with putting your information in the chat. Tell us a bit more about your business. And Tracy, I put in on guard as well. I just like it to just share with us just a little bit about your business.
Hey, Presnil, I think Stephanie has a problem turning on her mic.
Oh, okay. All right. Tracy, would you like to share a little bit about your business? And Miss Valda coming to you next. And in the meantime, anybody else want to share? I see Tamika. Tamika, would you like to tell us a bit about your business?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, so my business is personal care products. So they're actually, in the moment, we just have 2. So it's actually a facial cleanser and a body wash. The name of the business is Ali Ray. And these cleansers and body wash, they are based on herbal remedies. So natural herbs that, you know, you would use to make teas and so forth. We actually blend them into soap products. So that's what we do. We actually target the ones for skin. So like the dandelion and so forth, the chickenweed, those plants that are used for skincare, you know, will clear up inflammation and lines and so forth on your skin. So we target those plants and we blend them into the soap. So that is basically my business. It's fairly young.
Okay. You're online, you're on Instagram and other socials?
Yes, I'm on Instagram at Chemist Solution.
Okay.
That is
you share them in the chat?
No.
In terms
of what? The online
as in the handles. Yeah, share the handles.
So I'll do that. I'll do that.
Share the handles. That's why we're here to, as I said, to network. I'm also coming to you, Lauren. You're not getting away today. Right? And would you like to share anything
my
more?
business is a form does it, so I don't want to share my secret idea yet. Because that was the advice that I got from Pre-Snell, not to share.
Well, it can get just a little, that's why I said just a little.
It's hard to give a little because I'm so passionate about it.
All right, I see what you mean. So, all right, later down in the summer then when we're advanced.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. But we're still telling everybody online to look out for Tracy's business, right? Yeah, it's going to revolutionize up some things. So we're looking forward. Still have to build up the hype, So, everybody can look forward.
Yeah, I'm not dressed in all black and have a sign say I am white, right? But yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, man. All right, looking forward. All right, so Miss Valda, you have next,
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I am in groceries. I live all the way in Hanover, and I have a small mini mart where I cater for my community.
It's going to be big, man.
It's big?
Yeah, so it's going to be a mart, supermart, not mini mart.
That's my aim, to go supermart where I can go wholesale to garner more funds. That is my aim.
Online, it's going to go online too, so everybody in Jamaica can get their groceries.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, man. So anybody here, once you're in that side, you know where to go. Tell us the name of the business.
My business name is Mount Peace Groceries, and I've been registered for quite some time now.
All right. So anytime you're in that area, until it becomes a digital business, then you know where to go. Right? I come into Andreen. Come, Andreen. Say something. Tell us about your business or businesses. Because this is where we talk everybody's business in.
Scandalous. Great evening, everyone. My name is Andreen, and I will represent tonight Everlasting Essence. Now, this is a business passionately formed by a family that's very close and dear to my heart, and thus I'm representing them tonight, where you can get your perfume oils and
Make sure them pay you, Andreen. You get paid?
I'm getting a lot of pay. Listen, let me tell you about these perfume oils, guys. You just need to literally dab a little bit on your wrist or those sensitive areas, behind your ears, in between, those things in the front of your chest and stuff. And you'll just walk past someone and have their heads turning. Who did just pass me? Yeah, that's how strong they are. They're very long lasting. I've washed my clothes twice and they're still there. So I just absolutely love using them. Versace, we're talking about Guess, we're talking about Savage, my favorite so far. We're talking about Tom Ford for just a fraction of the price of those big bottles from those brands. So to get to us, you can check Everlasting Essence on Instagram, Facebook, and you can also reach out to Pre-Snell or Dominique or myself. I will drop my number in the chat, and I'm sure Dominique will do that too. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you for that, Andreen. And everybody here, you can tell who is the salesperson in the room. So if you want your ad, you know where to go. So, that is why we are doing this. Because as I said before, we're not just here to just talk, we're here to actually build each other, right? The next time, next year, maybe, we shouldn't have any small business in this room. Should be all big businesses or bigger businesses for that matter. And I still have a couple of persons that I haven't heard from. Would you like to say something more? Tell us about your business idea or existing business, or even tell us about yourself. And I see we have the richest man in Babylon here as well. Well, not Babylon, Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. I'd like to meet him, or maybe he's a her. So let's hear it. Let's hear it from Mansa Musa.
Hi, good night. I'm Mo.
Hi,
So
Mo.
Hi. So I don't have a business as yet, but
Okay.
I have something I'm working on.
All right.
So it's a digital product. You know how you reach out to like small businesses and they take forever to respond because they or have or they don't have enough time.
Speak to the room. You have the floor. Speak to the room.
Yeah, so what I do, I create templates. They cater to issues that usually happen, such as if you have a website that person's logged into, if they have technical issues, if they're checking about a product that you have, your inventory, etc. So there are email templates that it's done for you. So all you would need to do is just input your business name, and if you have
So
the template,
Mo, and not to cut you, but you have a business, man. That's not an idea. That's a business. So when you're finished, put your number, your contact details, email address as well in the chat. We'll continue.
Yeah, it's not finished. So I did most of the templates already, but I still have a few to do, and then the graphics of it. But yes, it caters. It already has all the information you'll need, and before each template, it gives you a rundown of how the template is used and why certain information is requested. For example, if someone wants to log into an account, it requests multi-factor authentication from them, and then it will indicate why it needs multi-factor authentication in the little note before the template.
All right, that sounds good. All right, so who's next? Mansa Musa? Lauren, your time.
All right, afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
All right, so I personally don't have a quote-unquote business just as yet.
Okay.
We have multiple projects that we plan on rolling out for this year. But what I mainly do is I'm a day trader. I trade Forex and I buy
this
and
is
sell.
doing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, man.
And Pre-Snell would know because we talk a lot, especially as of recent times. Right, so I buy and sell cryptocurrency. I buy and hold. That's how I originally was able to make my first $1 million, and that was done from about 400 US dollars. I can share the story if I'm allowed.
Yeah, man. Sure,
right,
share the quick version, doing.
Right, definitely. Originally, when Bitcoin started out, I just started trading back in college, university, because I wanted to be a dentist. You know, that dream is long out the door. I graduated, but I really don't study dentistry anymore. So I initially bought Bitcoin when it was at $2,000, I think, and I held it until it got to 60K. That's US dollars figures we're talking. And I sold at 60K. That's how I was able to make my first $1 million. But as it relates to what we're doing now, I've been, in dialogue with.
Hakim say made a good decision.
I mean, you see, again, understanding the market is a whole different thing because I'm still holding some now. I'm about to make, some transaction as a recent times because I need some cash to invest in, elsewhere. All right. So, right. So the whole idea is, and again, I would definitely love to have a talk with you, Priestnell. I have so many ideas You know, I have at least 5 business ideas that I want to definitely implement, and I want to get them out of the way for this year. I'm looking forward to that partnership, you know, but that's what I do in a nutshell. I trade forex and I buy and sell cryptocurrency. And again, it's something that most people don't understand. However, once it's understood, then it's like any other digital product. Well, I wouldn't say any other digital product because I am very biased when it comes on to you know, digital monies, you know. So I'm very big on these things. I always tell people don't sleep on them. You know, you know, I've seen persons become rich. I don't want to say overnight because I don't want this topic to seem as though, you know, it's a get rich quick thing. You know, I always try to tell people you have to understand the risk that you're taking. And once the risk is understood, then you go ahead. Like I deploy strategies that I lose upwards of 200, 300K per day. However, my returns are very much greater, you know, and, you know, these are risks that I've already pre-calculated. And, you know, at one point, you know, like I said, I tend to hang around people with similar goals. So, you know, eventually you will see persons making 15K, 20K, 30K, 50K per day, and I'm talking US dollars. And you know, you sit and you try to learn the craft because at the end of the day, that's where you want to be. So that's just a nutshell as it relates to, you know, what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that, Dwayne. And you know, feel free to leave your number in the chat if anyone is want to learn more about crypto or FX, they can contact you. And I believe Ralisa had a question. How do you get that customized? We're going to find out, Ralisa. So we'll speak. Or if anybody else here has that kind of information, feel free to share. And I think we come to now, Lauren. We have just a couple of minutes left on the webinar. Lauren, are you there to share a bit about your business? Because if you don't share it, I'm going to share your business for you.
Afternoon, everyone. Or should I say good evening? Awesome presentation, my boss. You spoke.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You spoke to my heart when you spoke about disruption.
Yeah,
coming into a space and offering something that is not readily accepted by the gatekeepers, the main players. But it's a matter of leveraging technology. So that now brings me to my business, which is Lawrence's Heavy Duty Equipment and Transport Services, which specializes in its initial stage in haulage, right? Backside haulage. But the idea is to ensure that we are making the business so efficient. We're not only providing haulage services, but we're now moving to providing data analysis technology to offer to other trucking companies who can now use that analysis to make their operations much more efficient, right? We're still in the startup phase. We're in the market for capital as well. We have a few potential partners that we're looking at. But if you are in the business of dry, cold goods, want your goods to be delivered, Lawrence's Heavy Duty and Equipment is the company that will offer you the best rates and offer you more than just transportation for your goods, right?
Yeah,
I'll leave my number in the chat.
And what's the other name for the business?
Well, we're going into LHD technology, you know. Thank you for that. So Heavy Duty Equipment is the transportation side, but LHD technology is the side that we'll use to revolutionize transportation in the entire Caribbean and beyond.
Man, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Man, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope this was not just a presentation that shared some information, but we, you know, like Ralisa, did you have an additional question? You know, it essentially was a platform, okay, for us to share and learn about each other's business businesses so that we can exchange ideas, partner even, and grow. And that is one of the things that we invariably here at Frontier. That's why we were started, and that's exactly what we will continue to do. Akim, you have a question?
Yeah, so one thing before we go that has been on my mind is the fact that I realize there's no official futures contract markets in Jamaica as well. And we know big companies use futures contract to offset any losses or any swings in the market. So I think that's a conversation that we could have and
Yeah,
see
we can
how.
certainly have that. It will take financial deepening to reach to that level. But that's another conversation. Good point. Another conversation for potentially a webinar for itself. So let me just quickly tell us about some of the upcoming webinars. All right, I'm going to find it. Sometimes you're looking for things when you need to find it, you're not finding it. But all right, so I'm not seeing the webinars. All right, guys, I'd just like to say thank you for coming out to our first webinar in the series. I've been trying to find I want us to take down those numbers as well in the chat. I wanted to find the list of webinars, but for the life of me, it's just not coming up right now. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and this was truly a great discussion, and we're looking to be bigger and better. So I want the numbers to double. So tell a friend to tell a friend, right? So the next time. Yes, Andrine.
If I may, the next webinar is March 7th at 6:30 p.m. Mastering Entrepreneurial Exploits, the Business Playbook.
Thank you.
And the other one is April 11th, 6:30 p.m. Innovative Strategies for Business Growth, Charting New Frontier.
And I think one of those will be sort of a roundtable discussion, because what we'll try to have is actual people who have actual problems and how they've been able to overcome these issues. So that is what we enable here at Frontier. We're not going to tell you that entrepreneurship is the easiest thing to do. It's a get rich quick thing, no. But it's a journey, and it is something that can build communities. So that's what we're here to do. So I thank you very much, and I hope we were able to at least have, one takeaway that can, we can help to build our business, or we can share with each other. And I'll give you guys a few to capture whatever is in the chat, because I know some person may have not. But one thing I wanted to point out, I did share in the chat some of our failures here. Who remember King Burger, right? Remember, Fly Jamaica is sort of new. Who remember Cuddies? Who remember Air Jamaica? Right? So these were some of the failures locally that, you know, in Air Jamaica especially, it was a heartbreak. But such is life and business. You have to pivot sometimes. All right, so I think we're good now. Anybody still taking notes? Or I can close out.
Yes, I'm trying to get information from Akeem.
Okay, all right. And really, so your hand will forever be up, eh? You miss Cuddies? Okay. I wonder why.
Did he share his number? I'm not seeing it.
Akeem? You said Akeem?
Yes.
I'll share it with you. I have his number.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Oh yes, I think that there's a business card. There's a business card here, but I'll just text the information.
You're welcome, Tamika. I'm just going through the chat. Thank you, Raleigh. Yeah, the presentation was very well done. It's done by Dominique, of course, not me. I don't have those creative skills. And thank you more for those templates. You know, you have a business there, so come and talk to us at Frontier and we can help you to grow it.
But just to add, guys, so it would be great if everyone could just drop their social media handles, because we're gonna be sharing different pieces of this presentation and then tagging your businesses so that you can also get some attention from that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, and just seeing what you mentioned about agriculture, Akeem, we're certainly going to speak. I'm actually launching my farm, my agribusiness. So that is something that we can certainly have a conversation, which the conversations have started.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And Venish also has a book, guys. She has a book on, I think she has a chapter, because it's a book on entrepreneurs. In fact, just on this platform, if she's still online, she could be one of our entrepreneurs that would speak on our next webinar, just to share her journey. Because
I'm here.
yeah, man. So, speak a bit more of the book. Just, some of the stories of success in terms of, they call it the little wins, the small wins, right? The small wins lead to the big victories. Sometimes it's not a win, but it's a lesson, and you pivot and you grow, so
By then
That
you'll
is
have your
something.
copy in hand.
Yes, man. Then take a photo and put it in the chat or something. Get it in the chat. It's on Amazon, right?
Yes, it is.
Man, share the link in the chat. And a few entrepreneurs are still online. So
Okay.
yeah. As I say, this is not
I'm not that fast, and I don't know where to throw me out in the sea like that. I'm not that fast, but I'll definitely try.
No, man, you are. And everybody has a story, and what makes it interesting is that it's real. It's not some superficial story that sometimes you see on social media. You don't know what is real from what is not real.
Yes.
So, that is important. Sometimes it's not to say that you want to know that other persons are struggling, but sometimes when you hear that you're not alone, you realize that you have people who you can actually get ideas from and grow. And so that is essentially why we're doing what we're doing.
Thank you. I'm trying my best to make